I was elevated to Chief of Staff, the most senior employee in the company at Yeezy, in January of this year, after previously holding the positions of Political Director and Head of Public Affairs. I learned that the company had spent $200 million in 2023 while bringing in no revenue.
What?
So that made no sense. Oh, no.
They spent $200 million and didn't bring in any money in 2020. That's when he lost his Adidas deal. Whoa.
That's like the most. That's like if the luxury brands weren't actually outsmarting the customers. It's like if a luxury brand owner was operating the same way that the people that paid for the shoes operated. Let's just spend more than we make.
Yeah,
go out of business.
Is crazy.
In addition, the company faced hundreds of millions of dollars worth of legal exposure. I immediately placed the business into emergency measures, terminating more than 130 people in my first month on the job.
Wow.
In 4 weeks, I brought down Yeezy's $48.8 million equivalent annual salary bill down by almost $30 million, and with no observable effect on company operations. Ye's personal spending.
He's saying that this man was running an inflated business.
$18 million of annual salary bill he cut, and they didn't notice it.
That means that this was just, this is industry standard. This is what industry standard gets you. You just get an inflated, bureaucratic organization where people were just on salary and no one's actually doing anything that generates actual value and profit for the company.
Oof.
So you got $200 million spent and the salary was $48 million, and he brought that down by $30 million. So that means he took it from $48 million, and they were still spending $18 million on people's salaries. I'm assuming Ye had some sort of salary business, right?
It was $48 million.
Yeah, and he brought it down by almost $30 million.
To 30, so they cut 18.
No. He brought it
brought it down by 30.
By 30.
Holy smokes.
So that means he's still spending $18 million on payroll.
I thought it brought it down to 30.
His personal spending habits are the stuff of legend.
Habits are the stuff of legend, but they are his prerogative and his private affair. I spent the majority of my time preoccupied by the state of and moving quickly to reform his music and fashion empire. During February and March, I devised and deployed strict spending protocols, new travel policies, limits on expenses, and other financial controls designed to rein in the company's appalling profligacy. I brought in a chief financial officer who'd overseen multiple government agencies, each with budgets in the tens of billions, to audit a decade of Yeezy operations. So
first of all, this is the greatest pivot in any person's career ever. Maybe he did this well for other companies, but the fact that he at least tried to do this for Ye, I mean, this is a glow up in terms of a skill set.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
More wisely than had previous administrations. We began slashing and burning at the enormous web of dormant and indebted entities, a legacy of 2 decades of neglect, which were now a danger in their own right.
My gosh.
I discovered, in the course of doing so, dozens of fraudulent schemes, audacious greed, double billing, duplication of labor, entirely unnecessary employees collecting 7-figure salaries, and all manner of other senseless wastes of money. I prioritized the identification of the most egregious thefts and frauds in case the perpetrators were still in Ye's orbit, terminating their contracts, including many described to me as untouchable or as leechable.
I'm not going to lie. I know folks that are close to Ye, and I've always wondered how their life works. Like, how are you sustaining yourself?
Are you just on payroll to hang out with them type of thing? Wow.
And this makes a lot of sense. But I know a few folks that were like, what do you do?
Yeah, man,
how do you live in like the most expensive neighborhood in LA?
A lot of it's more like coaching and advice I give Kanye while we're like driving to the next city.
Right.
It's hard. I don't have an office, it's more out and about.
Yeah, I never understood it. So this actually makes a lot of sense.
For example, I discovered that Paul Johnson, a former gallery owner and longtime advisor to Ye, had charged him $6 million in 2021 for a Damien Hirst sculpture that could not have been worth even $2 million, and had then proceeded to claim millions of dollars a year from Ye in the years afterwards, allegedly to oversee his archive. But in fact, under Johnson, the archive was being plundered. Irreplaceable artifacts are now gone forever, thanks to losses and thefts under Johnson's tenure, including Ye's Grammys, personal effects from the births of his children, and even his mother's death certificate.
The guy that charged him millions of dollars to oversee his like assets and like art stuff lost it all. Like it got sold. It got like he wasn't even doing the thing.
Openly to colleagues that he and the company's former CEO, Matt George, made millions of dollars via illegal insider trades of Gap stock in 2021, before Yeezy's partnership with that company was public knowledge. Johnson had asked for and received his entire 2024 salary in advance a few weeks before I took over.
This man got a whole salary paid in advance.
Hey, man, you mind if you just pay me in advance real quick, Ruslan?
Hey, Ye was just in the clouds, bro. He's
like, sure.
Space cadet.
Yeah, sure.
He was not paying attention to anything. This makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the pressure and the tension that you're operating under with having $200 $100 million in the hole every year, and 50 million of that is to staff and random leeches and people that don't do anything to generate value? This is all heart, no head behavior. Go ahead.
Terminated his consultancy after he lied to me, claiming that it had been Ye's idea to pay him a year's salary in advance. It hadn't. And because Yeezy was presented with a bill for nearly $1 million in bogus storage fees from one of his vendors. Johnson has not returned any of the money, nor to my knowledge made any attempt to apologise for taking advantage of Ye so outrageously and for so many years. I discovered that Ye's archive had been plundered to exhaustion. There's no way to know the true extent or enormity of the thefts from Ye's archive over the years. My staff was overwhelmed by the scale of the task. In light of Ye's unparalleled historical significance as a producer, a recording artist, and a clothing designer, I took the decision in May to request assistance from the art theft program at the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Wow.
With the advisor responsible, Paul Johnson, dismissed, I informed Ye that for the first time in half a decade, Yeezy no longer had anyone on staff making more than $1 million a year. Since my departure in May, I understand that the company has returned to its
Hold
prior
on,
state.
hold on. I got to read that again. He said it. This is the first time in a decade that Ye does not have someone on staff making more than $1 million a year.
Yeah.
So that means that people, for the first time, were probably getting paid what they should have been paid, and even that, I'd question.
Yeah.
The folks that are in the $700,000-$800,000, are they actually worth that, right?
Yeah.
And then he said, I took the decision and made to request assistance from the art theft program at the Federal Bureau of Investigation with the advisor responsibly, Paul Johnson, and informed you that for our first time in a decade, you no longer had. Wow. Okay, keep going.
And that many of those found guilty of theft, extortion, and abuse have returned. It was in this context, having installed myself as a mandatory common sense check on new hires, which for the first time in Yeezy's history now included criminal background checks, that I first encountered Dr. Thomas Connolly, who was introduced to me as the dentist who assisted Ye in the design and installation of his titanium prosthodontics, fitted in January 2024 at a cost, the Daily Mail reported, of $850,000. Connolly was introduced to Ye by Billy Walsh, a music industry figure who was paid $1 million for his work on Vultures Volume 1, but could not identify a single track he worked on when challenged by Yeezy music department staff.
This man paid somebody $1 million who couldn't identify a single track he worked on?
Vibes, bro. He
Vibes,
was like
bro.
the baseline inspiration for kind of the frequencies we chose.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.